Together, come on. I will dance for the Lord. I will sing, say, I will sing forever. Come on, let's praise Him right now. I will praise You yeah. Let's do it again. Say, I will dance. Yeah, we will dance. Oh my God, yeah. I will sing forever. And we will praise. Come on. I will praise You forever. I will love You, say. Yes, I am Yours forever, Yours forever. I am Yours forever, Yours forever. I am Yours forever, Yours forever. I am Yours forever. Yes. That feels good. A little bit louder, we sing. Yeah, yes. We are Yours forever. Sing, I am Yours forever. Ha! I am Yours. Yeah, let's go for it. I am Yours forever. And we will dance for the Lord. Hey, sing it out to the King. I will praise You. Come on, let's love on Him. I will love You. Let's do this next part. Sing, I am Yours forever. Oh man, sing, I am Yours forever. Hey, Yours forever.
What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, and it's great to be back together. So grateful for you all joining us this evening, and we are looking forward to just I'll say kind of off top, just an interesting conversation this evening. For those of you that are joining us on our church website, I know we always push you over there to participate and to view and to engage in the chat there on our church website. But for tonight's dialogue, I'm going to be asking some questions, and I want to invite you to join us over on Facebook or YouTube this evening, so that we can bring up your comments here in the chat on our broadcast as we go through this evening. So if you'd like to engage with us over there, then we invite you to make your way over to our Facebook page or to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you there. Hopefully you all are having a great week. If not, then I pray that the Lord would bless you and turn that thing around for you. Tonight, I think tonight's conversation is going to help us a little bit with just to contextualize some things as we evaluate where we are as a church in this moment, where the Lord is taking us, and the kind of opportunities that we're going to have. And so I am looking forward to our time tonight. Before we transition to our announcements and reminders, I do, of course, want to welcome you to this space and say thank you for being here. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes to get started with our conversation. But here are some announcements and reminders for you for this month, this amazing month of April 2021.
Happy New Day, Church on Purpose. Here are your announcements and reminders for the month. We're so happy that each of you chose to worship with us. If this is your first time worshiping with us, text the word WELCOME to 531-233-5190 to receive a special thank you for joining us today. Mark your calendar for these upcoming events. Our theme at Church on Purpose for 2021 is Who Are You? Learning to see ourselves the way He sees us. Make sure you tune in each Sunday at 9:45 a.m. and Wednesday at 6:25 p.m. right here at live.churchonpurpose.org or by mobile device via the Church Center app. Speaking of the Church Center app, there's no better time to get connected. Visit the Apple Store or Google Play Store to download the Church Center app to your mobile device. Search for Church on Purpose and get linked to all of the basics needed to stay engaged. Need assistance? We can help. Email us at office.churchonpurpose.org. The Merry Folks had their moment last month. Now it's our turn. Sunday, April 11th at 2 o'clock p.m., founder of No Love Inc., Eddie Fairley, joins us for a period of dialogue about loving God, loving self, and loving the season you're in. Register today at events.churchonpurpose.org or through the Church Center app.
Calling all mothers, save the date. We have our third annual Mother's Day Beautiful Me special events designed just for you on Friday, May 7th at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because we are still in the middle of a pandemic, we will have our night celebration virtually. The cost is $20. You will receive one paintbrush, one paint pot with 6 colors, one 8x10 canvas with imprint ready for paint. During this event, you will have entertainment, fellowship, and an encouraging message from our guest speaker, Dr. Joynita Nicholson. Register today on our Church Planning Center app or go to www.winningwomenomaha.com.
Here are a few final reminders. Each month at Church on Purpose, we pick one North Omaha nonprofit and one North Omaha business to highlight and support. Here are our selected highlights for this month.
Hello, my name is Yasmin. I'm a manager here at Best Burger. We serve turkey burgers, veggie burgers, chicken burgers, and our grass-fed beef burgers. We also have side choice options of crinkle cut fries, sweet potato fries, and hand cut fries. Then we also have our plum cake dessert options. So when you come here, sometimes we have different flavors, different type of desserts. And then we also partner with Idle Bow Juices. We have fresh organic juices here as well. And then our hours of operation, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. If you go to bestburgeromaha.com, we have our whole menu online there. You can either order online from there, check us out, or you can call our restaurant at 531-999-7220.
Pastor Portia Cavett, Clare Memorial United Methodist Church, and the Clare Cares Food Pantry was started over 2 years ago to help with the food insecurity in North Omaha. We serve on the third Saturday of every month from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We prepare anywhere between 250 to 285 boxes, and now it's a drive-through pantry due to the pandemic. They can call the church 402-451-8322. You can always bring items, donate them that week prior to. We start putting food out on the tables on Thursday, and then we start packing boxes on Friday to be ready for Saturday. Anyone that's interested in volunteering can also call the church 402-451-8322, or if you know my personal cell, you can call me.
Are you 12 years old or younger? Then here's a special invitation for you.
We have some exciting news about Kingdom Kids. Layla, take it over. every first and third Sundays, we have something just for kids. K through 8th grade will meet on Zoom at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will do interactive activities that we can use in our everyday life. Join us for Kingdom Kids.
5 and under have their own Zoom class at 12:45 p.m. where they will learn and grow with stories about Jesus. Join us. See you there.
We're so blessed with an amazing church family, we had to take the time to say happy birthday or happy anniversary to the following Church on Purpose family members. Supporting the work of the kingdom through Church on Purpose is easier than ever. Give online at our website, give on the go through our mobile app, use your existing PayPal or Cash App services, or text any dollar amount to 84321. We couldn't do what we do without your consistent support. Have you supported your church this week? Don't forget, at the conclusion to today's lesson, we'll gather in small groups in the room and online for a period of reflection to answer the 2 questions. What stuck out to me the most from the lesson, and what am I going to do differently this week based on what I learned? To participate virtually, click the reflection link in your Church Center app or go to sun.churchonpurpose.org at the conclusion of this message. That's all of your announcements and reminders for this month at Church on Purpose. Be sure to catch us each week at live.churchonpurpose.org and follow us on social media via Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as you live each day on purpose.
All right. That is our announcements and reminders for this month, and so many great and awesome things that are going on that are taking place. And special shout out to Elisa Moore for doing such a great job with our voiceovers every month. If you all are in need of voiceover services, her services are available. So, as we get together tonight, the last time that we were together in this space was 2 weeks ago, because, of course, last week for Passion Week, we went through our Holy Week meditation series, which was great, by the way. If you missed that, definitely check out the page and the archives for those conversations. A lot of rich content and things to think about. But as we prepared for that week, the plan was to begin kind of digging through and walking through each individual element of our Describing Church on Purpose series. We've gone through the overview. We started the year by talking through the history of the church. Janae and I sharing our experience with responding to the call and relocating. We talked about that, and that's kind of weird. But we talked about that, and we had the opportunity to recap that journey, to talk about kind of what that looks like for us now. And then we started digging into the targets that we established together as a church, thanks to a 6-week series that Pastor Dwayne Hawkins of Antioch Baptist Church here in Omaha took us through. And it really, for the first time in our church history, gave us some very clear targets about what we're looking to produce as a church. And we walked through, kind of walk through that information under the consideration of how we can be more intentional when committing ourselves, aligning ourselves, connecting ourselves with other organizations and other individuals. And so, we kind of framed that experience as things to be thinking about and questions to ask, with the intention of following resurrection, getting back together and beginning to walk through those elements piece by piece. And, coming out of resurrection, it was really, really exciting to be able to make that turn into this series. But at the same time, I felt like it was really important for us to take another step prior to actually getting into the bit by bit and the piece by piece. Hold on one second. And so, as we were considering all of that, I started thinking just kind of about where we are right now, where we are preparing to go, and and where we have the possibilities of going. And you all know that I'm a visionary. I'm a long-term thinker. I'm always looking down the road. It's hard for me to be stuck in kind of the moment that we're in right now, because I'm constantly thinking about how this current moment relates to where we are trying to go down the road. And so as I was thinking about that, I started just kind of thinking about this idea of getting together and having this conversation about these targets, and the level of intentionality of that conversation. And I think we would do ourselves a disservice if we didn't first contextualize the conversation. And when I say contextualize it, I mean, I think we've done a decent job of putting the conversation within the context of the vision of Church on Purpose and the mission of Church on Purpose, and what Church on Purpose is, who Church on Purpose is, where Church on Purpose is going. But I think it's really important for us, as we get ready to have these conversations and to look at what targets we are working toward, which naturally is going to take us to this place of self-evaluation and where we need to grow and how we need to be better, and opportunities for us to improve. I think it's really important that we contextualize this conversation within your vision, within your personal vision, within what you feel the Lord is doing in your heart. Because again, these are targets for Church on Purpose. And our desire is one of two things, either that through this conversation and dialogue, it will become very clear to you that Church on Purpose is the place where you can grow and where you can maximize your potential. You can become everything that God made you to be, and that you're going to have the support and the structure to be able to blossom and to bloom and to mature and grow stronger. Or that through this conversation and dialogue, it would become clear that your vision might better align with another church. Because again, we never claim to be the only church in the world, nor the only church in Omaha, Nebraska, nor the only church in North Omaha, Nebraska, where the Holy Spirit is working, changing lives, impacting people. And so, that there isn't a huge expectation for us that everybody in the city of Omaha is going to become a member of Church on Purpose. There are different visions, there are different passions, different directions for the city. There are different responsibilities that people have to make a difference. And when we bring all that together as the body of Christ, then it allows us to reach the city for the kingdom. And so, through this process, I hope that it helps us to be sure that we are on the right bus first and foremost. And then once we are sure that we're on the right bus, I hope that it helps us to make sure that we're in the right seat. When I was in elementary school, and if the bus driver for whatever reason wasn't going to be there in the afternoon, they would always intentionally tell us repeatedly through the day what our substitute bus number was. Because when you got out of school and you went to the bus loop, all of the buses were lined up in the bus loop. And usually, your regular driver would get there at the same time every day. And so they would pretty much be at the same place in the line of buses every day. And so it became very easy to just walk to the usual space and get on the right bus. But I remember a number of times when we would have a substitute bus driver just kind of being on autopilot and walking to where the bus usually was and getting on the bus and being like, I don't know who you are, and I don't know any of these people on this bus, so I need to turn around and get off because this isn't my bus. And then you have to go searching for the bus number that they gave you for the substitute bus, so that you can make sure that you got on the right bus, so that you can make sure that you got to your destination. And I hope that this series this year, as we describe Church on Purpose, helps to clarify for you whether or not Church on Purpose is the right bus. And then once we have made the decision and made the determination that Church on Purpose is the right bus, I hope that the vision is clear enough that that we identify a different level of ownership in the vision. That we take a different level of seriousness and a different level of stake in the vision. The vision, not my vision, the vision that God has given you that should align with with the vision of the church. But I hope that we will view the opportunity that we have a little bit differently. And that we will allow that to manifest in our commitment to what the Lord is giving us the opportunity to be able to do. And so tonight, this scripture kind of resonated. Habakkuk 2:2, and the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. I hope that, that after that tonight will be an encouragement to revisit the vision, that you have for your life and for your heart. Because if we are going to be able to run together, we've got to be running to the same goal. And it's hard to run to the same goal if we don't know what goal we're running toward. And as we go through the rest of this Describing Church on Purpose series, a lot of that is laying out the checkpoints toward the goal. And as we lay out those checkpoints, we are committing to that journey together. Although, we may arrive at the checkpoints at different times, which is totally okay, because they're not linear. What's most important is that we are on the same page, on the same path, headed toward the same goal. Scripture says, how can two walk together unless they agree? How can we agree if we don't know what we're agreeing about? And the reason that I think it's important that we have this conversation tonight is because, too often we take our heads off when we come to church. But we don't think as critically as maybe we should sometimes. And I want us, as a part of, my vision for where we're going and what we're becoming, if we're going to be Church on Purpose, we have to be Church on Purpose. We have to be the church on purpose. We have to be the church with intention. We have to be the church that understands why it does what it does. And we have to be the church that understands the importance and the value and the intentionality of what it is that we are connected to. Because if we can do those things, then we can maximize the opportunities that we have. And I'm sure y'all probably get sick of me of hearing me say maximize opportunities and maximize potential and all of those kind of things. But it's not just about realizing potential, and it's not just about realizing possibility, because you can realize things that you never maximize. And I don't want us to be a church that is able to realize but not able to maximize, because we only have but so much time here. We only have so many days to make a difference in this world. We have only so many interactions with people that are far from God to help them to learn about how much He loves them, how much He cares about them, and what He wants to do through their lives. And there are far too many people that are living in this world without hope, without direction, without purpose, without value, without significance, without a supporting system that loves them and cares for them and encourages them. There are too many people that are living without without that swift kick in the butt when they get off track. There are too many people living without a track. There are too many people that are living without accountability and and without love. And as the church, we have an amazingly unique opportunity to be able to truly make a difference in people's lives, and not just their lives here on earth right now. And yes, the gospel is immediately applicable. It's not pie in the sky. It's not continue to suffer and endure just until we get to eternity. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is here. God is actively working in this world, and we can embrace some of the benefits of the kingdom now, with great anticipation about being able to embrace all of the benefits of the kingdom in eternity. And so tonight, I want us to have a conversation about vision, and more specifically, your vision, and not just your vision for your life, which is important, but how that vision for your life connects to the vision of Church on Purpose, and what kind of church that helps us to become, and then more personally and more practically, who we need to be to see that vision become a reality. I've told you all, plenty of times before, one of my favorite resources that's on my annual reading list is The Principles and Power of Vision by Dr. Miles Monroe. This is truly one of the most transformative resources I have ever come across in my life. And it is so saturated with boulders of wisdom, not nuggets of wisdom, but boulders of wisdom for navigating the journey from where you are to the fulfillment and the realization of the purpose that God has placed in your heart. And there are a couple of pieces of this that I want to touch on tonight, very quickly, just to get us thinking. And then, I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans, because then next week the church is going to get together to pray, and we're gonna pray for where we're going and what the Lord is trying to do through us, and who we need to become in order to get there. we're going to pray. We're going to, and we're going to ask the Lord to guide us. And then we're going to jump into our Describing Church on Purpose series. And we're going to start breaking down those different targets so that the targets become extremely clear for all of us, so that there isn't any confusion about where it is that we're going, so that we can be on the same page about that destination, so that we can run together. But because when I say, like, God is giving us such an amazing opportunity, those aren't just words. I believe that with my whole heart. It's why I'm driven to do the things that I do. It's why I get frustrated at the things that I do along the way. But it's also why I'm as optimistic as I am about what we have the potential and the possibility to be able to do. And I'm grateful for your presence on this journey. And I just believe that if we come together and we are unified and we can agree on the things that we can agree on, and the things that we don't, we can put to the side, and we can run together, then the things that the Lord has done through us in the last 4.5 years won't compare in any way to what the Lord is going to do in the next 4.5 years. So, so as we we look at these different pieces, and like I said, I've got just a couple of the elements from this book. And if you don't know about this book, or you never had an opportunity to pick up this book, I would strongly encourage you to pick it up, because vision is difficult. It's exciting when you first get it, but the journey toward the realization of it is long. It's arduous. It's tough. It's frustrating. It's depressing at times, but it's worth it. And there have been many times where, along the journey to the realization of vision, where I have wanted to give up. And it is the amazing way that the Lord spoke through Miles Monroe, and tied these principles of vision to His Word, that provided the reassurance and the direction that we needed to be able to make it happen. Hey, Fat. You want to come say hey to everybody? Come say hi. Say hi. Hi. Okay. All right. Take your toy. Go find Jada. But this is again just an absolutely amazing resource that I would highly encourage you to pick up, to add to your library, and to add it to your regular reading list, because we need those resources on the inside of us that help us to continue pushing forward, to obtain what God has for us. And this is one of the best resources that I have that I have found. So the first thing I want to share with you, Dr. Moreau talks about in here, when as we're thinking about this vision, and we're thinking about just who we need to become, and what kind of church we want to become. And matter of fact, you're joining us there on Facebook or YouTube. Just drop in the comments there. What kind of church do you want to be? What kind of church do you want us to be? Because I think we got to be honest with ourselves about that. The kind of church that we want to be. That is the beginning of shaping the vision. It's just understanding whether we want to be mediocre, we want to be good, or we want to be great. We want to be a church that honors God and brings Him glory, magnifies Him, lifts Him up, Um, what kind of church do we want to be? Because whatever we establish as targets, we have to understand that we are going to have to put in the work to get there. Dr. Moreau says in his book, he says, you only accomplish what you fight for. You only accomplish what you fight for. We want so many things in life, but it is the things that we fight for that we actually complete. It would be it seems like it would be great to not have to put in work and still reap the benefits. But you appreciate a victory that you had to fight for. You appreciate that degree that pushed you to the brink. You appreciate that relationship that almost broke you, but that you were able to find restoration in. You appreciate the things that you fight for, and you only accomplish what you fight for. And so when you think about vision and you think about where you want to be and you think about where you want the things in your life to be, and your relationships and your finances, and and your educational goals and your spiritual goals, all of those things, you accomplish what you fight for. If you're willing to put in the work, then you prove yourself deserving of the benefits and the rewards that you reap for doing the work. But if we're not willing to put in the work for what we say that we want, we cannot realistically expect that we're going to receive it. And so, as we start having this intimate dialogue about describing church on purpose and clarifying, setting the targets for who we need to be in order to become the church that we want to be, we are only going to accomplish what we are willing to fight for. And I think, we all have to be honest with ourselves about, when we say this is the kind of church that we want to be, are we really fighting to become that kind of church? Are we doing the things that are necessary for us to be able to get there? Because, we can talk about all day long what we want to be and what we want to see and what we hope and what we believe God can do. But belief is evidenced by actions. It is espoused by words, but it is evidenced by actions. You can talk all day about what you believe, but what you really believe is demonstrated by what you do. We value worship on Sunday. We will be present intentionally in worship on Sundays. If we value study and growth opportunities, learning, digging deeper into our faith, then we will be intentional about being present on Wednesdays. If we value the opportunity to lead, we will lead in a way that honors God. If we value our contribution to the church, bringing everything that we bring by being there, then we will be present. We can talk all day about what we believe, but our actions provide evidence for what we believe. And when we cast this vision, when we are clear about this vision, about the kind of church that we want to be, that then establishes the level of accountability for what we need to do in order to become what we're trying to become. Dr. Moreau says that in relation to vision, he says that if you set your hands to do something, there will inevitably be resistance, opposition, and difficulties. Therefore, you have to apply pressure in order to fulfill your dream. He says you have to put your whole might behind it. Your whole might. Not a half of it, not a third of it, not an eighth of it, not a tenth of it. Your whole might behind it to see it become a reality. Hard work and diligence are essential ingredients to success, but they require an internal motivation. And that internal motivation is vision. It is what you see when you look at that seed. You know, it's spring right now, and so a lot of people are, trying to prep their yards and everything for for the year. They're weeding it and seeding it and feeding it, fertilizing it, and raking mulch and planting flowers and all that kind of stuff. And the driving factor behind all of that effort that they are putting in is the vision that they have of what that yard is going to look like because of what they've planted in it. They know that the seed ain't gonna stay a seed forever. And so they labor, they get down on their knees and they dig in the dirt and they dirty their hands and and they do the tough work of prepping the yard because of the driven by the vision of what that yard is going to become. It's not it today. The day after they do all of that work, it still looks pretty much the same. But in time, those seeds will bloom and blossom. And more often than not, what comes of their efforts is oftentimes so much greater than what they were able to see in their minds. And when we consider the kind of church that we want to be, it's going to take hard work to get there. And what motivates us to do the hard work, the inconvenient work of showing up on Wednesdays after a long day at work, the inconvenient work of rising early on Sunday mornings to be present and engaged, the inconvenient work of participating in meetings and preparing appropriately and following through with what we say we're going to do, the inconvenient work of reconciling relationships and having those tough conversations, the inconvenient work of putting our pride to the side and humbling ourselves under God's direction and leadership. The inconvenient work, the hard work, the tough work of the journey is easier when we put it within the context of the vision that we are working for. See, if we don't have a vision for what the church is going to be, we're not going to be motivated to do the tough work of becoming vulnerable and uncomfortable and growing to be authentic with one another. See, to be a strong church, it's going to require us to be strong together. The saying is true. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And oftentimes it's not that the link is necessarily weak itself. It's just that the link isn't isn't strongly enough connected to the next link in order to prevent breaking. If we are going to be a sustainable church that is growing and advancing the gospel and fulfilling the will of God, that is going to require us to have strong relationships with one another, where we love and support and respect one another, where we can engage in honest dialogue, where if you have concerns about something that is going on with me or around me, then you come to me to talk about those things. If you have some encouragement for me, you see me down and you have some encouragement for me, then you don't miss the opportunity to provide encouragement. Imagine what it's like we become a church where people don't miss opportunities to love on one another. We don't allow our fears and our reservations to stop us from speaking those words of encouragement and edification because we're worried about how people are going to receive it. Where we built enough relationship to where we know and are clear about one another's motives and intentions behind what we do. And we know that it's all motivated by the vision of the church that we believe God is calling us to be. You only accomplish what you fight for. One of the beautiful things about vision that Dr. Moreau talks about also in the book is that is the ability for vision to serve as the catalyst for moving us out of our current state. He says, as long as a person can hold on to his vision, then there is always a chance for him to move out of his present condition, his present circumstances, and toward the fulfillment of his purpose. As long as you can hold on to the vision, then there's always a chance and an opportunity for you to be able to move beyond your present circumstances. There are going to be times along this journey where it feels like we're stuck, where it feels like we're not making the progress that we want to make. And in those times, we have to reflect on the vision for the kind of church that we want to be. Because as we reflect on those kind of things, then the Lord gives us the opportunity to find hope and inspiration and motivation in the vision. It is difficult for me to comprehend how people experience the difficulties that they do in this world without vision, without a vision for a better life, without a vision for better days. Because sometimes when you don't have anything else, all you have is a vision for better. And the hope that that provides, that if you can see it, then possibly you can be it. If you can dream it, then just maybe that dream can become a reality if you keep pushing, if you keep fighting, if you keep putting forth the effort, if you keep waking up and putting your feet on the floor, then what you dream about can hopefully become a reality. We have to be intentional about grabbing the vision and holding on to the vision so that the vision can become a reality in our lives. Here's the thing. Dr. Moreau talks about in the book how vision comes from purpose. And so if you don't have vision, then I think it's fair to say that you may need to take a step back and clarify and better understand your purpose. Now at Church on Purpose, we are pushing for you to understand your unique purpose. That is the unique contribution, your specific purpose, your unique contribution that you make to this world that nobody else can make like you. But even before you get clarity about what your specific purpose is, you have a general purpose. The moment that you put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ, you become a part of his body and you are tagged in to join his team in doing the work that he sent us here to do, which he gives us in the Great Commission. Go therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe whatsoever he has commanded us. Going and making disciples. Like that is your purpose. That is your general purpose. And as a member of Christ's body, in some way, shape, or form, all of our lives contribute to that effort in different ways, but in some way, shape, or form, we are contributing to that effort. And so if you are still struggling with your specific purpose, or if it's not time in your life for the Lord to reveal your specific purpose to you, dig into that general purpose, because contained within there is vision for how God wants to lead you and how he wants to move you forward. And because vision comes from purpose, it's going to be hard to clarify any meaningful vision until you're clear about what that purpose is, until you're clear about how you want people's lives to be different in this world because they met you and because you had the opportunity to serve them. How do you want this world to be different when you leave than it was when you arrived? How do you want your family's lives to be different? How do you want your community to be different because you were here? How do you want your home to be different, your family to be different? How do you want people's lives to be changed because you are here? That then lays the foundation for what you see is possible in your life. And as that becomes clearer, then it becomes much more believable that it's possible. Dr. Moreau says that God creates everything to fulfill a purpose in life. And that means that whether you know it or not, your life has purpose, that you are significant and you are meaningful. Here's the thing. A knife, until it understands that it's a knife, will never be able to envision cutting. A basketball, until it understands that it's a basketball, will never be able to envision itself being thrown up at Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Until you understand who you are, it's going to be hard to get an accurate vision for what God desires to do through your life. But here's the beauty of vision. Dr. Moreau tells us that your purpose is already completed in God. So the simple fact that you exist means that in God, your purpose is already completed. That means that in eternity, it is already done. Here's the thing we have to remember. A lot of times we look at and we interact with God as if God is one of us. You know the song, "What if God was one of us?" Blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? He's not. The problem with thinking about God as one of us, and I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm talking about God the Father. Because Jesus was one of us, and we know what that looks like in Scripture. But Jesus is back in heaven right now. But we put the same kind of limitations on God that we know that we have. And so we look at the world through a very, very finite and limited perspective, where God, and this is one of the most encouraging things that the Lord helped me to understand about just calling and purpose and intention and what we have the possibility to do. But, and I've said this before, you all have heard me say this before, but one of the most amazing things about God is that while you and I are sitting in this moment of time right now, and that's all that we can see. This is all that we can see with our eyes. We can see the parts of the past that we can remember that are locked in our memory, but we can only see right now in this moment in time, 7:15 p.m. Central Standard Time on April 7th, 2021. That's all we can see right now. Well, we are finite and limited as human beings. And so God, at this moment, is also simultaneously looking at everything in time behind you and everything in time in front of you. He is simultaneously present in this moment and last week and next week at the same time. He is right now with you, looking at you as you are today on April 7th, 2021. He is simultaneously present here and at your birth and at your death and everywhere in between, all at the same moment. And this is exciting because, again, your purpose is already completed in God, because God is already at the end. He knows and understands why it is he's asking you to do what he's asking you to do. And he's also not asking you to do anything that he knows you're not going to be able to accomplish. How does he know that? Because simultaneously, while he is asking you to do it here, he is with you as you are doing what he is asking you to do. That is the beauty of the transcendence of God, of him not being limited by time, is that when he places purpose and vision in your heart and in your mind and in your eyes, and you see it, it is not because it's some dream that's just supposed to sit out there and it's never supposed to materialize or become anything, but he has placed that within you, because when he is asking you to do it, he is simultaneously present with you in the moment that you are doing what he created you to do. When I was wrestling with the Holy Spirit on the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge about starting Church on Purpose, God was with me in this moment now, at the same time watching me do what I'm doing in this moment, while he was with me on the bridge 7 years ago. And what's crazy about that is that he is right now simultaneously with me 7 years from now, doing whatever Church on Purpose is going to be doing 7 years from now. Y'all, your purpose is already completed in God. Purpose, Dr. Moreau says, is established before production. That means that God doesn't create anything and then assign it purpose after it's been created. The simple fact that you are here right now breathing is evidence of the fact that at some point in human history, God said, I need somebody that's going to do XYZ. And then he shaped you and he molded you. He drew up your blueprints, and then he brought your parents together, and then you were born. Purpose is established before production. But our visions are all about God. Your purpose existed before you did. He doesn't create something and then decide what to use it for. And what he plans to use it for, the vision that he places in your heart, in some way, shape, or form, is going to contribute to the building of his kingdom. This is important for us to understand as members of the church, because we have to figure out how to make sure all of this is working together to build and edify his kingdom. If we aren't clear about how God desires to build his kingdom through Church on Purpose, then we can find ourselves trying to build something at Church on Purpose that God has not designed Church on Purpose to build. And so we have to be clear about the vision. We have to be clear about our vision. And we have to understand that regardless of how exciting and enthusiastic our vision is, at the end of the day, our vision is always about God. It is always about building up his kingdom. If God gives you a vision for addressing mental health issues in the world, that vision is bigger. The purpose and the intention is bigger than just addressing mental health issues. It is about more than just helping people to get back to a place of mental stability. But in some way, shape, or form, through you doing that, there has to be a connection to building the kingdom. That is the role and the responsibility of every kingdom citizen. If the Lord gives you a vision for coaching youth sports in some way, shape, or form, that vision has to be tied to building the kingdom. And the way that we build the kingdom is by connecting hearts with the one that loved them and died for them and rose for them and sent the Spirit for them, so that we would have an understanding of our purpose, so that we would be able to be clear about what God desires to do. If God gave you the vision to teach, in some way, shape, or form that is going in the kingdom, that's got to be tied back to building God's kingdom. And so how do you take the vision that you have in your heart and in your life and ensure that it is all about God, that it is going back to the point of building God's kingdom? We spend a lot of our time, energy, and effort doing things, working on things that are eventually going to be destroyed and never seen again. If we spend as much time pursuing our vision, clarifying our purpose, strengthening our spirit as we do exercising, practicing our hobbies, watching TV. Jesus, just said watching TV. Man, think about how different the world would be. And I'm not saying that any of those things are bad. It's good to exercise because you need to be a good steward of your temple. It's good to have hobbies because you have a variety of talents and gifts and abilities that you can explore. And not all TV is terrible. A lot of it is, but not all TV is terrible. But whatever vision God gives us in some way, shape, or form, we have to understand how it connects back to what God is trying to do. The last thing that I want to leave us with tonight is just how Dr. Moreau talks about the relationship between corporate vision and personal vision. This is what he says. He says, the fifth key to understanding vision is to realize that it is both personal and corporate. Personal vision will always be found within a larger corporate vision. Now, this is a nugget for anybody on social media that may be watching this that thinks that they can do everything that they want God to do in isolation. It's not how the kingdom works. Vision, personal vision, will always be found within a larger corporate vision. It is not God's method to give a vision to a group. He gives the vision to an individual who shares his vision with the group and transfers it to them. The members of the group then run with the vision because they find in it a place for their own personal visions to be fulfilled. Here's the thing. If you don't know what your personal vision is, then it's going to be hard to connect your personal vision to the corporate vision. And that's why as we start these conversations about describing church on purpose, and we are clarifying the kind of church that we want to be, and we're clarifying this corporate vision for us, we had to pause tonight to have this conversation about personal vision. Because you really have to take time over these next 2 weeks to think about how you want this community to be different because you are here. With however much time you have left, how do you want things to be different? Because until you understand that, it will be difficult for you to really be able to clearly identify your place and your seat on this Church on Purpose bus. Dr. Moreau goes on to say that God brings together private purposes and visions in order to facilitate corporate successes. If we are in line with God's nature and character, we will desire what he desires, and we will be fulfilled in a way we never could have been by following our own ambitions. Fulfilling your vision requires your being able to submit to others in a larger purpose. So here's why I close with that one. Because when we start digging into this Describing Church on Purpose series, here's the guarantee. There's an opportunity in every single one of those conversations for each of us to grow, myself included. And it's going to be a challenging experience. But if we can grab hold of the corporate vision and we can clarify our personal vision and find our personal vision within the corporate vision, then there is going to be some humbling of ourselves that we have to do. some places of pride that are in our lives where we think we're okay, even though we're not, and where we are challenged to grow rather than running away from the growth. We'll have to submit ourselves to the opportunity to grow because we understand that we are part of something that is bigger than us. And that if we are weak, then it weakens the entire body. But if we are strong, then it strengthens the entire body. There is a direct correlation between your corporate vision at Church on Purpose and your personal vision as an individual. And God has been very intentional about both. And here's the thing. If we are going to be committed members of this church, if we are going to come together in a way that honors and glorifies God, if we are going to restore the dignity to the term church, if we are going to work in such a way to where church is no longer a bad word in people's minds, even if they throw up when they hear about every other church, if we are going to live in such a way that when they hear about Church on Purpose, they say, oh yeah, those are people that really love God and are really trying to make a difference in our community. If we are going to live in such a way to where people begin to find the hunger and the desire for purpose, where people that feel like their lives don't matter and feel like they have no value, if those people are going to realize that they do matter and that their lives do have value, people that are struggling and overwhelmed with life right now are going to be able to find the support system to carry them through the rough times and also the path to be able to run on to get to the place of peace and of joy and of love. If we are going to be present in this community and make a difference, if we are going to be here and not just be like everybody else, if we are going to be here and actually make a difference, starts with clarifying our vision. And so over the next week, I want to challenge you to be intentional about setting aside time to think about really how you want this community to be different because you are here. And as you think about that, I want you to write it down. Doesn't have to be in paragraphs, doesn't even have to be complete sentences. Just write down whatever comes to your head, but write it down. Why? Because again, Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision. Write it. Then we'll make it plain. Because once it's plain, then we can run. But I want you to think critically this week about how you want this community to be different because you are here. And then some of the questions that I hope that we will have the opportunity to answer in the coming months is, what kind of church can we be? What kind of church can we be? I mean, the Lord is giving us a very special opportunity. What kind of church can we be? Hold on one second. Oh, got to wrap this up because it's getting ready to cut me off. If you're on the church website, you just got cut off. That's why y'all should have followed directions that got on Facebook. What kind of church can we be? Second question, what kind of people make up that church? When you think about what kind of church we can be, what kind of people make up that kind of church? Then the last question, are you that kind of person? Because the kind of church that we're going to be is going to be determined by the kind of person that you are. And so those are the nuggets that I encourage you to be thinking about this week. And like I said, next Wednesday, we'll get together for a time of prayer so that we can seek the Lord's blessing and favor on this journey to discovering Church on Purpose. As we describe it, we will discover it in a way that we never have before. And the vision for what God is calling us to do and to be is going to become much clearer. So the rubber is getting ready to meet the road. But this is going to be an amazing opportunity for us to be clear about who God needs us to be so that we can do what the Lord has purposed us to do. I'm grateful to be on this journey with you. And I'm excited about what the Lord has ahead of us. And it's going to take a lot of work, but it's absolutely going to be worth it. So I love you guys. God bless you. I pray that you have a great rest of the week. And as always, I pray that you live each and every single day on purpose.